Hi, this is Lucy for Shiny and Tech Digest, and I'm here with what looks like the Nokia E71, but it's actually the Nokia E63, the latest addition to Nokia's E-series. Now, as I said, you could have easily mistaken this for the E71. That's because the design is very, very similar, but there are a few differences. So, for example, it doesn't have the chrome outer shell. Instead, we've gone for plastic this time, which isn't as nice in terms of specs, but it actually feels a lot nicer than the E71. It doesn't have that cold metallic feel that the E71 brought to the table, which I quite like. It's also a little bit heavier, only by a few grams, so nothing monumental, and it's also a bit wider as well, which serves to just give the QWERTY keyboard a little bit more room, which is easy to use with either one thumb or two, which I quite like. Screen size is the same, so we've got a 2.3 QVGA screen. Resolution is pretty nice as well, and it's generally easy and really nice to navigate through. Now, the E71 was aimed more at the business user, where the E73 is generally aimed at the normal consumer, the everyday consumer, maybe someone who wants to step into the smartphone world but doesn't want to get a BlackBerry or an equally convoluted handset. Now, it's also taken a few knocks in the spec department, so it's not as highly spec'd as the E71, but it is still nice. It's a 3G phone with Wi-Fi, so there's no HSDPA, there's no 3.2 megapixel camera or AGPS, but it still has Nokia Maps on there, so not really bad. It doesn't really matter that you don't have a GPS on it or a 3.2 megapixel camera. There are 2 megapixels in here, which, to be honest, isn't the best quality camera, but it still gives pretty good pictures. Now, here's some I took earlier, Blue Peter style, and as you can see, the quality is very, very nice. Now, like the E71, it runs a Symbian S60 operating system, so it runs pretty smoothly, very similar to the E71. In fact, it's almost identical in that department, and I've got no complaints with that there. Now, similarly again to the E71, and this is probably the last comparison I'm going to do, you can change between screen modes. There's 2 customizable home screen modes. You can go to business mode, which of course you can handle the business side of your life, emails, that kind of thing, your contacts, and when you're ready to maybe switch to the weekend, personal stuff, you can switch to personal mode, and again you can look out for emails and things like that, but maybe you can juggle between 2 separate accounts. So that's the design, very nice. No complaints there, and there's also these really nice shortcut keys which takes you to your menu, calendar, contacts and messages, which is always good to have. It's always nice to have shortcuts. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it does have a 2 megapixel camera, and it's also got video capabilities as well, and it records at 15 frames per second. And again, it's not the best, but it's there, and it's a function that you can use on your phone if you need it, and it's very easy to get to. There's a shortcut key on the right hand side which I can click and go straight into the camera. Now, other features, it has stereo Bluetooth, FM radio, a media player, and a function that I really like. It has dictionary. Now, not everyone's going to use a function like this, but I found it really useful. Being a writer, I maybe want to know the meaning of particular words, and I can quickly go into my phone and check that out. So I really, really like that. It's available in 2 colours, ultramarine blue, as you can see here, or ruby red. So creatively named colours, like most mobile manufacturers these days. Sony Ericsson's probably worst for doing that and giving their names elaborate and unnecessary names for their mobiles. It's available pay-as-you-go and on contract. Prices depend on what network you're going for, but I can tell you it's available as a standalone unit for £149 from Virgin, and when you get the phone you get 1 gig of remote storage courtesy of Ovi, Nokia's multimedia service. And there you go, Nokia's E63. It's a really good phone, great for people who don't want a convoluted smartphone, and it's not bad looking either.